Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, and today from BlizzCon 2019, it's going to be Classic versus Dark from the semifinals of the playoffs for BlizzCon 2019. Bottom right-hand corner, we have the Korean Zerg. He is red, he is dark. And in the top left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, Classic. Oh boy, good stuff here, Classic. Probably the best Protoss player on Earth at this point. And Dark, one of the very best Zerg players in the entire world at this point. So, you know it's going to be an incredible PvZ. One gate expand opening from Classic, at least as far as I can tell this point, and 16, 18, 17 from Dark. Pretty darn standard stuff. No proxy hatches, no proxy gateways, no cannon rushing. And yeah, once again, starting with 12 workers means the game starts to get interesting sooner, but at the cost of the cheese, right? Cheesing is harder because the distances your probe needs to go are the same, but the time it takes down to get a pool has shortened. And this is... oh, hang on a second. There's a delay... oh, there's a forge here. Holy smokes, Classic. You gonna do a delayed cannon rush against Dark? Remember when I was like, it's hard to do this stuff because the pool's done faster? Classic's like, screw you, Falcon, I'm doing it. Now, Dark's not sure if this is a fake out or not. He doesn't know if there's a forge back home or not, so he's not sure whether to respond with a bunch of drones yet. He is, though. He's responding with drones because this probe is hanging around. Man, this is just, this is a lot of lost mining time for Dark. I don't know if this is worth it for him. Classic's not actually trying anything. He could. He's got a forge, but he just forced the drone pull, and I think that's all he needed. And look at this. Dark going for a third hatch at 156. Wow. He went hatch. Okay, all right. In the face of a potential cannon rush, he went hatch, 3 hatch, sub 2 minutes. I don't know about this, man. One cannon goes down to the drone attack. Another cannon probably... there you go. Canceling that one, but the wall off is secure now. And no, I don't know, man. They might be able to get a surround from the other side. This is a lot. This is a lot from Classic. And I don't know if it's going to work out. Dark is losing a ton of mining time. But at the same time, he's dealing with this pretty effectively. I mean, this cannon's that one cannon's going to finish here. This one finishes and gets a couple kills. This one's going to get a couple kills, but overall, that's going to be it. And this gets shut down by Dark. Again, a ton of lost mining time. A bunch of drones died. But the good news for him is Classic spent a ton of resources on this. All these pylons are going to die. Not to mention the other ones that were killed and canceled. And the cannons that were down. I mean, resources lost here, 500 to 250. So that is a doubling up of resources lost in favor of the Zerg player here. Classic going for the delayed cannon rush. Dark's all over it. Again, a ton of lost mining time. But he's at 22 to 20 workers. He's at 3 bases. Classic is just now getting his second Nexus up, and Dark's ahead at this stage. You might look at this and say, if you're in this situation and say, oh, so much mining time. I lost 3 drones. I lost 4 Zerglings. I'm probably behind. No. Classic devoted a ton of resources to that, and it didn't win the game. And as a result, Classic is behind. He's got 23 probes. His second base isn't even done yet. Clark can really afford to drone his face off here, as long as he has a couple queens and some slowlings to handle the eventual adept harassment that might come and might not. As long as he's prepared for that adept, he's going to be okay. No gas income whatsoever. He's not getting speed. Like I said, slowlings and queens are going to be enough to keep him alive until he saturates up to 3 bases. And so far, so good. If we're looking at it, a Phoenix is on the way, but one Phoenix isn't going to do much. Possibly an Oracle follow-up, which would necessitate an Oracle, or a Spore, rather, to deal with the Oracle in each of these bases. But Dark feeling comfy, man. Real comfy. I mean, the guts required to get a third base up sub 2 minutes when you think your opponent might be cannon rushing you is amazing. And I am super impressed with that decision and how well he handled it. And he only lost 3 drones when I probably would have lost my entire drone line. Bad news. He knows an Oracle is coming in because, again, you can see what's being built in the Stargate by the outline of the little shimmery stuff here. So that's an Oracle, which means you're going to want a Spore. There you go. 1 Spore at the main, 1 Spore at the natural, and a Spore at the third. See, Dark's fine. 3 bases, fully saturating. I mean, at this point, what are we? Yeah, 16, 16, 9 with 3 more to go. He's 3 bases fully saturated on minerals here, taking his gas. Now, getting speed up, going for an evolution chamber, Interestingly enough, really, an Evo chamber now is interesting. Is he just going for upgraded Zerglings or something? Seems odd. Queen ready to rock. Oracle's not going to be able to do much. Look at this. Look at the positioning here. Pop, pop, pop. Early shot, early shot, early shot. Extra shot. Another Queen comes over. Oracle has to get on out of here because an Overlord caught a glimpse of where the Oracle was going. Zerglings out on the map trying to see if they can know where the Oracle is, where the Adepts are at all time, how much he has to respond with to these attacks. And these are things that Zerg players make look easy. But I can tell you, as a Zerg player, it's not easy to do this, to know exactly how much is coming across the map and making just enough to handle it and not die is a big deal. And understanding that is hard to do, but it helps immensely if you can do it effectively. The heck is... the Adepts came down here. Got a couple drones, but also Adept down too. So, a couple Adepts for 2 drones is not a good trade for Classic. He's in a bit of trouble here. He's making additional Phoenix. It doesn't necessarily feel like a giant Phoenix play, but... oh, man. Is he just doing this with upgraded Lings? He's working on +1 melee attack. He's getting a Baneling Nest. Speed's almost done. He's making a 4th base at 6 minutes because why not? Baneling Nest, Roach Warren. These Lings are basically here to make sure a 3rd base is not easy. With an Oracle and these Zealots here, the Lings are not getting through there, and the Oracle's going to try to follow them to make sure they don't set up and make some Banelings somewhere that Classic doesn't know about. Regardless, more Phoenix. This Phoenix cloud is big from Classic. This could be hard to deal with. This can be hard to deal with as a Zerg. The one way I've seen it dealt with most effectively in the past is the Zerg player just makes 100 roaches and comes across the map and says, kill them all with your Phoenix, I dare you. So that might be what we're seeing here from Dark. Again, a 4-base economy with 63 workers. A ton of gas income here as he is on 2 gas inside the main base. And he's got a 3rd gas coming up. Already has 2 extractors at his 3rd base. I mean, it's a ton of gas. The Zerglings are trying to see if they can take down the 3rd, but this is a pretty well-defended 3rd base warping in from Classic, and so far, so good. Now, do you have enough anti-air for these Phoenix? The answer is no. You're making some spores, getting a macro hatch here too, which means he's planning on going for a lot of Lings. Now, the Queens are here to fight. The Queens are here to transfuse if necessary. The Queens are here to fight. That's why there's creep connecting all of these bases. Overlords are not really protected at all and getting picked off and supply blocking Dark quite heavily. Zerglings rolling into the 3rd, trying to see what they're dealing with, maybe trying to draw off some of these Zealots if they can, trying to drag the Adept out of that wall so they can get through, but the Adept is too smart for that. She's on hold position. But these Banelings are part of her different game here. Banelings into these Zealots is not a bad idea. And going to get out. Does take down the shield battery and a couple of the Zealots. Another shield battery warps in, though, at the same time. Phoenix still prowling around, trying to find stuff to kill. The Queen count's insane, you guys. It's 10 Queens at 7 minutes. That is a great number of Queens here. He's not as worried about injects right now. He's just worried about Queens, keeping stuff alive. He's got extra spores up in his main base, especially. That is really vulnerable. Overlord's not protected. Do die really fast. And eventually, if you have enough Queens, 3 spores just aren't going to cut it as far as base defense is concerned. When was there a Nidus? Somewhere in all this, Dark created a Nidus network, and he's going to take down this 3rd. There are too many roaches and too many Queens. The Oracle can't do anything about this. That's a full evacuation. Lings and Banelings cruising on in. Banelings crashing all over the Zealots. The Zealots are such a good answer to this, but it's not going to be enough. Another Nidus swarm erupts. The Phoenix are trying to handle it, but the Queen count is just too stinking high. Transfuse is going down and the Queen's being attacked. It is so hard to kill Queens that are being transfused with Phoenix. I think this might be it for Classic. He is losing Phoenix here. The Queen count is still high enough to cause him problems. Although, these last 2 Queens going down is a big deal. So maybe enough. There's also a Void Ray versus these Roaches, which is really good stuff. 4 Queens at a time in production. Phoenix Cloud hitting pretty hard right now. Spores trying to come up before the Void Rays kill all of them. There we go. Spore getting some shots off on these Phoenix, actually picking one of them off. The Void Rays going against the Nidus, getting hit by the Spores, though, which is bad. The ground army for Dark is nothing right now. That Nidus Swarm dies. This Nidus Swarm is still alive. The first one that was made, picking off a Zealot, going after the Nexus. They do finish off the Nexus. And Classic's 3rd Nexus is down. He's a 2-basing Protoss versus a 4-basing Zerg right now. And that is never, ever, ever where you want to be if you're a Protoss player. Now, the Spores still exist. Stalkers are trying to get rid of them. Phoenix cruising on back home. Still a ton of Phoenix here. They did much better against those Queens than I thought they would. Dark transfused as well as he could, but in the end, it was just not enough. It was not enough to make them make those Queens live. He just made a ton of Overlords, and they're slow, and they're easy to pick off. And he might get supply blocked again here, depending on how many more of these Overlords go down. And maybe one more. Maybe one more for the supply block. The Phoenix aside. Nah, not worth it. Not worth it. Roaches here to defend the spores. The spores are here to deal with the void rays. Shield battery here to help with everything, though, and the spores pull back. All right, we're good. As long as we have a creep tumor here so the third base is not easily replaced, that's fine. A couple more queens going to die. How many queens have gone down? 6 Phoenix have died, and 12 queens have died here. What an insanely good ZVP this has been. From the very beginning, this has been nothing but exciting. Oh, I love casting the high-level replays like these ones. It's always a good time. For sure. 2 spores versus, like, 4 void rays? Not going to be enough. With prismatic alignment, and the Nidus goes down too. So we're just looking at 62 to 45 workers in favor of Dark, rather. He is down in army supply overall. He's lost 12 drones. He's killed 8 probes. And at this stage, Classic has taken a new third base just outside of the main. And are we fairly even at this stage? The Phoenix and the Void Rays are problems. They really are. I mean, I've seen Cyril lose to this very strategy. He tried to get Hydras. They were out too late. And the Void Rays and Phoenix just murdered everything. The Infestors. I love the Infestor play from Dark here. Genius idea. Another Nidus Swarm coming up in the same place as the first one that was built in the game. Just outside of Classic's old third base location. Creep Tumors getting picked off at distance. Classic recognizes the importance of killing creep, just as Dark recognizes the importance of spreading creep. Army supply still 72 to 62 in favor of the Protoss, but Queens are fighting. Nice fungals on the Void Rays, though. Oh, picking up the Infestors to kill them. Bonus damage versus Light, really doing well in that situation. And Infested Terrans onto the ground. This was played before the latest patch, so Infested Terrans exist, and they're helping immensely. It makes me wonder what does Zergo do against this without the Infested Terrans. Probably would have to be Hydralisks. Just a good number of Hydras, enough Hydras to handle the Phoenix. And if you don't have enough Hydras to where the Phoenix can't lift them all and kill them, then you just die. Roaches running about, trying to see if they can kill stuff on the other side of the map. Not everything. This is not like a mass roach army. This is Queen, Roach, Infestor right now. More Queens are going down. Ladies and gentlemen, Roach is getting into that third base, taking out a couple of probes, stopping all mining in the third base too. Void Rays looking really strong right now, but a bunch of them are extremely low on HP. Infested Terrans getting some shots off. They're all gone now. 3 more probes down. Dark not being supply blocked despite losing a few Overlords. He might lose his 4th base, but Hydras are out, and Hydras are fighting. But again, if there are enough Phoenix, they can lift and kill them very quickly. Roaches still shutting down all the mining back here at Dark's third. What an insane ZVP this has been. It's not over yet. It is not over yet. Dark has a bigger army. He's making enough Hydras with the exceptional income he's had on 4 bases for as long as he has. Classic's trying to shut this down, but I think it might be too late for him. Queen fighting. Hydra's fighting. Spore Crawler getting shots off. This Phoenix Ball has really paid for itself today. I'm going to tell you that much. 7 kills, 8 kills, 2 kills, 2 kills. Hydra group getting a little bit large with some Queen support. And the Phoenix decide they might have to go home to help with these Roaches. Classic's on 2 base. He's mining out of his natural. His main base is also mining out. He is in a big amount of trouble here. Dark, in a very rare moment of quiet, is going to take the time to knock down this debris, opening up the ramp between his 4th base and his 3rd base and his natural, which seems like a good idea. He did end up losing his 4th hatch to that final attack and final push, which means he's long distance mining, which is not great, but he still has 71 drones and has only lost 13 in this game. So that is fantastic. Fantastically well defensed from him here. A Viper on the way as Parasitic Bomb against Phoenix is worth its weight in gold. Hydra's fighting. Phoenix fighting. Are there enough Hydras here? It doesn't seem like there are. But Phoenix maybe trying to lift and kill some of these drones as they're long distance mining. I'm not sure exactly where they're going now other than, I guess, to Overlord Island. Over here at the 3rd and trying to kill as many as they can to supply block Dark. Not able to do it, but it's very close to being supply blocked. 135 out of 136 available. What a ZVP. What a ZVP we're looking at here. I can't stop smiling. This has been so good. Classic. Trying to get his 3rd base back up. This is paramount he gets his 3rd base up. If he doesn't get a 3rd base up, he is done. Dead in the water. How many Hydras exist? 16 versus 15 Phoenix. That's a pretty good ratio. 1-to-1 is fine against this number of Phoenix here because they can't lift all of you and kill all of you in these numbers. Another Queen gonna go down, possibly. Yep, she dead. That is 23 Queens killed in 15 minutes. 23 Queens down. These Phoenix are putting in all of the work. They have +1 attack. They don't have any other upgrades. There's no Ion Pulse Crystals here. Just +1 Phoenix. Getting serious work done today. How many kills? 4 kills. Somehow 0 kills on that one. On that one too. I guess some of them are new to the party. But Banelings here, Vipers here, ready with that Parasitic Bomb as necessary. Hydras and a couple Roaches, just in case some Zealots show up or some Adepts. And free shots on the Nexus are great. Here we go, lifting and killing. Parasitic Bomb, getting some serious hits off on these Phoenix. They're starting to explode. Oh, massive Parasitic Bomb hits there. The Hydras from distance finishing off the damage the Parasitic Bomb didn't do. And that's your good game. Dark wins game number 1 of our sneaky twofer in 15 minutes and 35 seconds. I am so impressed with that game from both sides. I thought Classic was done. I thought Classic had invested too much in the cannon rush, didn't get enough done with it, and Dark was way ahead, especially was it when he was on 4 base and Classic was on 2. But Classic makes the Phoenix, makes them work, ends up killing 23 Hydralisks, 6 Infestors, and 28 Hydras, largely with Phoenix. Ended up losing 34 Phoenix thanks to that final battle. Parasitic Bomb is a good spell. But yeah, the big problem was the attack on the 3rd for him that shut this base down, never allowed it to come back up because of the creep. This 3rd base was up for some time, but then got attacked into and shut down, and Classic was done. I mean, he still had income, but it was very little income here. Dark still on his 4 bases, did lose his 4th, but replaced it quite nicely. Resources lost here, 21,000 to 20,000, and if you're that even in a 15-minute ZVP as the Protoss, you're not in a good place. So Dark wins it, but by golly, that was not an easy win. And again, I do wonder how it would have gone if Invested Terrans didn't exist, right? I think Dark probably goes for Hydras faster, rather than going for Infestors and hopes he has enough Hydras to handle the Phoenix. It can be tough to do, as I said with the example of Cyril in a game from late last year too, where it just doesn't work. But boy, exciting stuff. The good news is that's not it. We have another one coming in the sneaky twofer. Let's go ahead and get to that right now. Game 2 of our sneaky twofer is here on Thunderbird. Bottom right again is Dark. He's red again, and the top left again blue is Classic. Woo! You can see why Classic is the top Protoss player, right? I don't know how many players who play Protoss could do a failed cannon rush and then hold off Dark for 20 minutes, right? I'm not sure how many of those there are. All right, so once again, let's see what this is. I don't think he's going to try this again here, but you never know. Gateway expand, but once again, he can throw up a Forge before the Nexus. And Dark's like, whatever. Slover Lord scouting, 16, 18, 17. Not worried about it. I held his cannon rush once. I can do it again. Man, that was textbook. That was textbook holding a cannon rush. Classic left a little gap here for drones and lings to slip through, but other than that, it was a pretty darn solid cannon rush. But it didn't work. Yeah. This one's a fake cannon rush. This one is trying to see if Dark will respond with multiple drones again. It's 1 drone for now. Remember, just the curious drone early. And there's not a Forge this time, so this one's a definite fake out. I thought the last one was a total fake out. This one is absolutely a fake out. Oh, additional drones coming down. The probe's sharking around, trying to make it seem like he's going for the cannon rush, not doing it. As the second is a cybernetics core. So definitely a fake out here. Look at all the drones, though. This is just an early hatch, though. So 4 drones, ton of lost mining time here. Classic only gave up 100 minerals for this probe. And all of this lost mining time is adding up immensely for Dark right now. I think, though, at this point, you know it's not a cannon rush. So, yes, at this point, just going back to work, he's going to let the lings that are under construction deal with it. Or maybe there aren't any lings yet. I don't know. Is he making Zerglings? Boy, he's not even worried about it. He's making 0 Zerglings right now. He's just making queens. He's probably going to get enough gas to get speed here. Classic on the other side, making an adept. There's an Overlord hanging out, trying to see what's going on. This is one of the few maps that don't have the Overlord perching spots. Or I believe as... who is it? Nathanius? Nathanius calls them perv spots. But anyway, Blizzard actually put out an announcement to map makers saying, hey guys, you know you don't have to have an Overlord peering spot in every map you make, right? Like, that's not a requirement from us. So we might see fewer of them in the future. Anyway, a couple lings do come out to deal with this pylon. It's annoying. It messes with mining, if nothing else. Dark's third base coming up. Adept cruising on in. But again, Queen and Slowlings should be able to handle this no problem. Queen says, hey, if you come up that ramp and you shade earlier, I will hit you with my spines and you will get hurt. If you finish this transfer, you also get hurt. Ugh, I don't know about this. The Adept is here to scout, but she hasn't really scouted anything yet, right? I don't think she has technically seen... Oh, she knows there's not a lair, I guess. Shades out, tries to get a couple drones. We'll get one drone. That's it. She done. So one drone for an Adept, not a good trade. Phoenix out first here. Oracle, follow-up, out of Classic. Creep spreading. Looking pretty good from Dark thus far. It's early, but early creep spread is important for your later creep spread. It snowballs in that way. Overlord gone. Dark is now in the dark about what's going on over here on the side of the map. But not really much to worry about. Twilight Council coming in. That could be the Resonating Glaive. That could also be Blink. That could be going for Archon Harass. That could be going for Storm. There's a lot of things the Twilight Council opening can intend to mean. Also, it could be charge lots. So Twilight Council doesn't tell you much, which is why scouting now wouldn't do a whole lot for Dark. He is with Overlord speed trying to get in there regardless, but the Phoenix says, no, that is my home turf. You get out of here. Thank you very much. And Dark's Overlord does. It is Resonating Glaives. All right, so that upgrade coming in for the Adepts, which feels kind of like an all-in to me. If you make a bunch of different gateways on two bases with Resonating Glaives, this tells me some kind of crazy Adept all-in out of Classic. And maybe not an all-in, right? Like maybe not something where if it fails you just lose, but some kind of an aggressive style attack that requires Roaches or Banelings for Dark to handle. And Lings and Queens actually can't do that, which, you know, most things Zerg can handle with just Lings and Queens in the early game. However, Adept attacks are one thing you can't. You can't handle with just Lings and Queens. Actually, to be fair, the Archons are pretty hard. The Archons are pretty hard to handle. If you just have Lings and Queens, Roaches are really handy for that too. But most things are Zerglings and the Queens. All right, so Robotics Facility coming on now for Dark. Where is that one? There it is. Here at the Natural. Overlord sees that. Very nicely done. Really very nicely done on the Scout. Oh, he didn't see the Twilight Council. I don't think he knows about these Adepts. He's making 8 Roaches, though, so I think he has a better idea of it than I give him credit for. Third base coming up, and Dark scouts the timing on that as well. So this is not going to be a ton of Adepts warping in. You would not make the third base if you're just getting a ton of Adepts. So Adepts here fighting. Rawr, rawr. They get a Queen. That's pretty good stuff. They might get another Queen. Jumping on top of these Roaches is not necessarily where you want to be. But you know what? The Adepts are doing pretty well for themselves. Stasis Ward, no! Queen's focusing on the Oracle. Focusing down some drones here now with the Adepts too. We've got Adepts rolling into the third base of Dark. Dark's economy seems like it's a bit of trouble here overall. More Adepts cruising on in. Remember how I was like, this isn't going to be just a million Adepts? It might be what feels like a million Adepts here for Dark, but these guys are causing serious, serious problems right now. 14 drones down in the first 6 minutes of this match. Actually, enough Adepts here to take down Roaches, which is pretty insanely good. And there we go. That extra attack speed really being useful here in the main base. These guys Adepts are not ready to go home. They've got 20 drone kills. 20 drone kills. 21 drone kills. Adepts getting into the natural base to keep killing more drones. You think you're safe? Says Classic. You're not safe anywhere. 25 drones down. Adepts all dead. But the important thing here for Classic is it's 50 to 35 total workers in favor of the Protoss. The counterattack is real from Dark. He's like, I made all these Roaches. Might as well use them for something if all those Adepts are dead over here. Now, Immortal on the high ground, hard to deal with. Two Immortals on the high ground with shield batteries, exceptionally hard to deal with. I don't think Dark's getting up here. I mean, this is Thunderbird. You get a free third base because getting through these minerals is annoying. You don't want to bring drones up. But in this situation, it might not be a bad idea. But 2 Roaches with force fields? You're not getting up that. And Dark recognizes that. He's pulling out. He's making a 4th base of his own, getting additional drones to replace all the ones that have died here. He's already caught up quite nicely. 49 to 53 workers. Just kidding. He's got 5 more on the way, so now he's tied up in worker count. The good news is he didn't lose that many Queens. His injects are good, and his hatch count is nice. and he's caught back up in worker count. No big deal. I can hear the Zerg OP comments on the channel right now. But hey, if you're willing to make a comment, hit that like button too. This helps the algorithm give me more visibility on the YouTubes, and I appreciate it. It's easy, it's cheap, it's free if you're enjoying this thus far. You're a Classic fan, you're a Dark fan, and you should be enjoying it if you're a Protoss or a Zerg fan or a StarCraft fan at all. Hit that like button. Nidus Network on the way. Infestation Pit coming in for Dark Templar Archives. Twilight Templar Archives on the way from Classic. Creep spread looking good. Remember what I said about creep spread early, turning into good creep spread later. That's what we're looking at here. It's about halfway across the map in 8 minutes, and it's a big map here, Thunderbird. So Dark's doing a great job with that. Nidus Network and Swarm Host. Oh, Dark's going for the Swarm Host. Oh no, it's the OP Swarm Host. All right, well, here goes nothing. Gonna get some Immortal Harass in, which not bad. I mean, you'd think they would one-shot drones, but they don't for balance purposes. Weakening some of these queens is about as good as you're gonna get, and then the War Person has to get out. So Overlord says, where can I throw up a Nidus Swarm once these Swarm Hosts are all completed and ready to go inside of my beautiful Nidus Network? It will be at the 12 o'clock position. You know, if Dark was Norwegian, he might sound like that if he was speaking English. He's not, obviously, but if he was, he would be. Ready for the eruption? I am, and that's the sound nobody wants to hear ever unless it's theirs. So here we go. Wave of Swarm Hosts coming in, forcing a recall to the third base. The entire army of Classic is here, and they don't want to get jumped on because they don't have any splash damage. Oh, good golly. They're so good against everything on the ground. Great against Zealots, great against Immortals. Although, there you go. Some good control there by Classic means not everything died. A few things died, but not everything, and that is a major victory. Immortals taking down the Nidus Swarm to the 12 o'clock. Another one coming in just outside of Classic's attempt at a fourth base on the low ground here. Roaches and Ravagers trying to take down these rocks. Easier access to that base for the ground forces. Obviously, the Locusts can fly. They're not worried about it. Hydralisk then on the way. Dark's at 74 to 64 workers. Dark does not care about losing 25 workers in the first 10 minutes of the game. So here we go. Whoop! Locust pop. Lings and Roaches coming in. Storm exists, and Dark pulls back. Almost instinctively pulling back here. This is why you need Storm versus all of this. Look how much easier it is to handle the Locust if you have Storm. And Classic's army is injured but not gone. That's key here. Look at him pushing up. No Nidus Swarm for you. No easy exit for you. Nidus Swarm erupting inside the natural. Gets shut down before anything pops out of it. Classic is on top of this right now. On top of it. Another Nidus Swarm coming up. But Classic, oh, he was right in range. He was right in range of that. He almost saw it. But he didn't. Warp Prism trying to do stuff up here at Dark's attempt at a fifth. Nothing happening there. Another Nidus Swarm erupting up north. Zealot finds that one real fast. Can he kill it before it erupts? Not by himself, he can't, but the Immortals coming in are going to be a big deal and a big help at that, and it does go down. Another Nidus Swarm coming up inside the third base area. Another Swarm of Locusts coming into the fourth base. That Nexus is gone. There was nobody in position to defend it. No Storm available, and the Nexus is done. It was close. It was a close thing, but the Nexus is gone. Nidus Swarm up north erupts with a bunch of Swarm Hosts in there, but they don't have their cooldowns yet. So Swarm Host goes back in, and there's just too much Protoss here, so they retreat. So thus far, I mean, Classic's at a good worker count. He's got Storm. He's on 3 bases, which is not great. He was better on 4 bases. That is the one major victory that Dark has gotten here. I mean, and the fact that Dark has five bases is also bad for Classic. Another wave. Another wave. Swarm. I was going to say Swarm. Trying to take down High Templar, and they're going to get one. And a couple other units, but again, not a ton. Another Nidus Swarm dies. Killing Nidus Swarm's really important if you're going to win this. I know it's insanely hard. Classic is making it look easier than it is. Army supply, 131 to 88 supply. Dark has a lead, but remember, these Swarm Hosts are dead supply. The Swarm Hosts are dead supply unless they're actively launching Locusts. Otherwise, they are useless to Dark's army and can't engage in situations like this. Also, Swarm Hosts on defense are bad. So here comes Classic. If you can take the attack to the Zerg player, kill a base of theirs. Does Dark just want to trade? I kind of think he just wants to trade out. He's unloading. I mean, the Phoenix does what it can in lifting one of these Swarm Hosts, but... okay, unloading here is good. Unloading here is really good for Classic. Only a handful of Locusts make it over to the third base. They're not enough to actually take down the Nexus, and that's fine for Classic. He can roll with that. Not bad. I mean, a couple probes going to die, maybe a Stalker or two. Another Nidus Swarm down, another Nidus Swarm down, and Classic is handling this about as well as you can if you're a Protoss player. Classic is just giving an absolute masterclass on how to handle this garbage if you're a Protoss player. Lurker's out for Dark, though, because, well, Lurker Tech is fun. That said, Immortals and Storm are pretty good against Lurkers. So Classic feeling okay. Again, handling that engagement. Well, that Immortal is, I don't know what you're doing here, my guy, but, oh, you're alive somehow. Incredible. I don't know how you're alive. Chasing down the Roach Ravager army. Dark is okay with losing this. I think he's got a pretty decent bank here. He's replacing the base at the 3 o'clock. That is his 5th. And Classic marching out with Stalkers and Immortals, which are what you want versus Lurkers, and what you want versus Swarm Hosts too. So pushing in, clearing creep, Locust use in a defensive position, again, bad. All Classic has to do here is back out. Classic is not backing out, you guys. He's trying to do some fancy shuttling and some Blink Micro and War Prism stuff, and you know what? It's kind of working for him here. Classic doesn't really want to engage in that many Lurkers, though. You know what? I kind of feel like he should. But I guess if he can wipe out this attempt at Dark taking to 6 o'clock, that's fine too. And he does. Classic, again, putting the offensive on this side of the map, keeping Dark back. Dark's not comfortable moving out. Oh, Classic, why are you pulling back, though? You can't be happy about... Ooh. I don't know. Maybe he's looking for Nidus Swarms. He's not really, though, is he? He's just kind of gathering his forces, waiting for another attack. Nidus Worm. Nidus Worm. Is there a song about Nidus Worms? Nidus Worm. Nidus Worm. Erupts wherever a Nidus Worm worms. Yeah, there's just nothing. Is this a recall? That's got to be a recall. Unless you want this base to die, this is a recall. So here we go. Is there any Storm available? The Locusts are just fighting, killing whatever they can. A lot of Zealots going down. And that's a fair trade to keep that base alive and keep those probes alive. Nice. Again, Classic. Just all over these Lurkers whenever they try to come across the map. Wrecking them with the Immortals, as Immortals have done against Lurkers for pretty much the entire meta of StarCraft 2 when Lurkers have been involved in a ZVP. Dark making another Nidus inside the main base of Classic. Classic pushing in army supply 85 to 126, which again is bad for the Protoss, but Swarm Hosts not useful most of the time here. When they are, they're annoying, but if you can handle the intermittent waves, as Classic has done fairly successfully, they're not as threatening. Nidus Worm, oh boy, Nidus Worm erupts right in Classic's third base. Everybody's dead. That base is toast. Nidus Swarm does get shut down by Zealots, even though Swarm Hosts and Locusts are killing them. So 2 probes down, but an entire Nexus killed is not good. Classic's expanding to the bottom left, which is just in the nick of time. Immortals and Storm on top of these Lurkers is so good. The Hydras are a problem, though, for the Immortals. The Hydras are a major problem for the Immortals here. But Classic pushing in regardless. Doesn't have any more Storm left versus these Hydras, but he doesn't feel like he needs it. Lurker's able to get some nice hits off with the Hydras tanking a little bit for him. Pushing up, he's got detection available. Lurker's forced to retreat. Of course, they have the Digging Claws upgrade. And again, defensive Swarm Hosts. Not generally good, but in situations where they can actually get hits off on the attacking army, not bad. And Classic's army is getting slowly whittled down here. Trying to kill as many Lings as possible. Trying to kill as many Hydralisks as possible. And once these Locusts expire, might be able to push back in. Oh, Oracle down. Army ready to rock. This Mortal has 30 total kills. 30 total kills. Trying to march in with Zealots on top of these Swarm Hosts and kill a bunch of them. Got some Immortals in the mix too. What absolute chaos this scene is right now. I mean, it's not much army for Classic. It's only 35 army supply for him. The Swarm Hosts are kind of getting focused down by these Immortals. Hydras too. Another wave of Locusts are ready to rock. The Immortal with 34 kills is going to get killed by drones. No! No! What an ending for that Immortal. Classic on 4 bases. Dark on 5 bases. Classic's still in a decent spot here, but another wave of Locust. This is so frustrating. So frustrating to play against. They have the current patch of StarCraft. These Nidus Swarms don't unload units as quickly as they do in this one. I'm not sure if it's enough to make a difference in situations like this, at least not for the Protoss perspective. But as it stands, it's 70 to 34 army supply, and I know I keep saying a lot of the status form hosts for Dark, but the discrepancy might just be too large here. Zealots trying to get on top of these Hydras. Do pretty well, but Lurkers with the splash damage, not a bad answer to Zealots in StarCraft 2 here. And the base goes down. The 4th is out. The 5th is out too, completely undefended. Trying to warp in some Zealots here, but as I've already said, Locusts eat Zealots for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A recall of what? Some Stalkers, an Immortal. Sure, none of this is good against Locust. That Immortal's going to die. This Immortal might actually end up dead, but no, the Locusts do expire. It doesn't matter. Good game, Dark. Ends up taking both games of our sneaky twofer here today. Insanity. Insanity today. What an incredible, incredible game. Classic fought so hard. So hard. But overcoming 36 probe losses. And Dark overcoming 34 drone losses, with 25 of those coming before the 10-minute mark happened. 14 downed Nidus Swarms, 2 downed Hatches, 3 Nexuses killed. 21 Immortals died. Holy smokes, that might be the most Immortal deaths I've seen in a game ever. That's incredible. But yeah, I mean, this is a strategy Protoss find it really hard to hold. Classic did as well as you can, I think, here. Dark lost 27 Lurkers, too. Like, I don't think the Lurkers paid for themselves, I'm going to be honest with you. But it didn't really matter. The Hydras did a great job. The Locust and the Swarm Host did a great job. There were still 10 remaining. 7 of them died. But yeah, Dark overcoming that initial Adept attack and getting to where he was great. Was really fun. And yeah, I don't know if Blizzard did enough to nerf this kind of strategy, because looking at it, even from a Zerg perspective, I'm like, what is Protoss supposed to do here? Classic had Storm. He had Immortals for the Lurkers. You just have to be everywhere at once is the problem. You have to be everywhere. And I don't know how you handle that. Let me know in the comments how you think this should be changed. Because again, the way Blizzard tried to address it, sort of tried to address it, was making the loading and unloading speed of Nidus Worms slower than it is now in this replay. But we'll see. We will see all together how that works in 2020. But for now, that's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and a sneaky twofer. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.